You are named in this report as well. What do you make of the findings?
Well, you say I'm named, but it's only in passing. And I was originally named in the first draft report, and when the EHRC contacted me with a range of appalling calumnies, and I put together a top legal team, thanks to incredible support from grassroots members and supporters. And we took the EHRC to task, and they have completely climbed down in their accusations that they made against me. They were trying to essentially accuse me of criminality, of unlawful behaviour, of breaching the Equalities Act, and of harassing the Jewish community. I have a record stretching back over 40 years of fighting racism. Absolutely outrageous accusations that were being made by bad faith actors. Let's be clear about it. And the Israel lobby are indeed involved in it. There's no point in running away from that. The Campaign Against Anti-Semitism is an out-and-out Zionist organisation, as is the so-called Jewish Labour movement. And they have a very clear agenda, and that is to support Israel and to try and suppress criticism, frankly, of the Israeli regime. It's an apartheid regime which is inflicting incredible brutality and callousness on the Palestinian people on land that they stole from the Palestinian people. And it's absolutely essential, in my view, therefore, that we call them out and that we are free to be able to criticise Israel. This was entirely about trying to suppress free speech on Israel and to suppress solidarity voices with the Palestinian people.
But of course, this is the heart of the problem, is that people get way too in deep with that debate. And then, of course, it results in reactions like this. And here we have Jeremy Corbyn being suspended. And as you say, these aren't accusations, along with yourself, of any anti-Semitism from yourself or Jeremy Corbyn, but it's his response to the report. That's the problem.
No, I'm sorry. Look, I mean, it was very clear what they were after. I made this point on numerous occasions, going back several years, that in the end, what they were after wasn't necessarily me or many of the other people who were victims of this appalling smear campaign. They were after toppling Jeremy Corbyn, toppling what he represented, toppling the proposition of a socialist government, but in particular, toppling a government that had an ethical foreign policy,
But Chris, look, all that, we hear that so often, but the problem is the report has found that there was unlawful discrimination and harassment.
Oh, come on.
That's what the report says.
Well, no, look, you're getting that completely out of kilter, it seems to me, because there's accusations being made that the Labour Party was, and its members, institutionally anti-Semitic, that this was riven with anti-Semites. How many cases did they find of alleged unlawful behaviour? How many? Two out of a membership of over 500,000 members, although many have left since Keir Starmer came to lead the party. One of the things which was clear in the report in relation to me is that I was subjected to political interference in terms of my disciplinary the spurious disciplinary action that was taken against me. So the people that were behind that political interference included Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer owes me an apology, as do many of the other senior Labour figures who were jumping on the bandwagon, stirring the pot and trying to intensify, the smears against me with a view to taking me out. They wanted to take me out because I was one of Jeremy Corbyn's most loyal lieutenants, and got a lot of support from grassroots members and indeed people in the country as a whole, because there was overwhelming support, let's be clear, about the programme that Jeremy Corbyn was spearheading at that time. And there was actually overwhelming support for an ethical foreign policy too. This was unconscionable to most of the people in the parliamentary Labour Party.
Chris, there's all sorts of things about the feeling of driving the likes of you, driving the left part of the party out, perhaps, maybe a witch hunt of some sort. But of course, what has happened is the Labour Party has been tarnished by this, and it's time to draw a line, and this is what's happened. And now perhaps the Labour Party can move on with a new leader and move on to new horizons.
No, look, the Labour Party now is dead as a vehicle for socialism, as a vehicle for progressive change in this country, as a vehicle for ethical foreign policy. We're essentially faced with a situation in Britain now that the American people in the US are faced with two mainstream parties which are essentially two sides of the same coin. It will make no difference who gets into government, whether it be a government led by Keir Starmer or a government led by Boris Johnson, but more, be tinkering at the edges. In the end, Tony Benn used to talk about the new Labour cuckoos who've taken over, or were taking over the Labour nest. They've actually taken over the Labour nest now. They've smashed all the eggs, and there's no point in trying to attempt to put those eggs back together. So
what
impossible.
next then? A former Labour MP, I'm talking to a former Labour MP. What next, Chris Wimlinson, for you? What's next?
Well, what we now need to do is build a new nest. There's no point in flogging a dead horse. The Labour Party's dead and people need to get real. The action, the disgraceful action they've taken against Jeremy Corbyn today, a man who spent his life fighting racism. I mean,
are we talking about a new breakaway Labour Party then, Chris?
Well, I mean, whether it be a breakaway Labour Party, I mean, I've been involved in helping to create a new grassroots movement. I think that's the first step that needs to happen. I think the action is going to take place outside Parliament now. We need extra parliamentary activities, it seems to me, to take on this government, to challenge the disgraceful direction that they're taking this country. And the Labour Party is no ally in that. I mean, how many times has Keir Starmer said he agrees with Boris Johnson? I mean, it's embarrassing. The man is a joke. And the Labour Party is a joke, frankly, now. And I regret to say that. I mean, I spent my life supporting the Labour Party. I've dedicated to the Labour Party. I gave 44 years of my life to the Labour Party bill. Okay. I didn't want to see the Labour Party in this situation now, but it's in a very, very bad place. And honestly, the kindest thing that we can do is kill it and start again.